Fishy jerks. Fishy jerks. Hey, everybody. Every time I play that, it makes me laugh so hard. It's so stupid. So hi, Rachel.
Hello.
So that little intro there, fishy jerks is what I call the people that watch my videos and stuff. It's
I like
a
that.
term of endearment. And I had a friend set I sing a little song because I'm weird, and it's called the Fishy Jerk song. And I had a friend set it to metal, so that's my new intro.
Fun fact: I have a theme song that I've never launched yet. That's the Fish Pimp song that my boyfriend had made for me for my birthday last year. So one of these days, I'm going to make an official music video to go along with it. It's pretty great.
I can't wait. Fish Pimp. Fishy Pimp or Fish Pimp?
Just fish. There's only 4 knuckles.
Fish Pimp. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess I could try and creep a thumb over to the side.
Unless you're a mutant or something. All right. So, hey, everybody. It's good to see you. I don't think I need to introduce Rachel. I'm sure that everybody in here, we've 35 so far came in. I'm sure every single one of you know who Rachel is. She's sort of a rock star to most of us. I know you don't like that. Just I could tell from the exchanges in the emails that you didn't agree with that assessment. But for the rest of us out here in the weeds, you're a rock star to us. You definitely are. Rachel was kind enough to let me do an interview, and for anybody that's not used to our format here, we don't even really look at the chat for the first half hour. Rachel and I are just going to have a conversation. We're going to learn more about her. It's not really about the hobby. It's more about Rachel and her other hobbies and her life at home and different things she's done in her life. So and then the second half we'll open it up for questions from the chat, and we'll interact with the chat. If you want to ask questions, that's the time to do it. And you can ask questions about fish and plants and things that Rachel's very knowledgeable in. But let's try and focus more on the personal side, if you don't mind. Again, not a big deal if you do ask a fish question. That's going to happen. It's a fish channel, right? That's my deal. It's a lot to spit out at the beginning. I am, I changed my name to Starstruck because Rachel, I am. I've only been back to the hobby for a year, but you were one of the first people I watched, and I just fell in love with how you present things, where you live, all of your tanks, your outdoors, the whole setup there, and it's very comparable to where I live. I'm upstate New York. We're probably 4 or 5 hours apart, but the same type of environment.
Which part of upstate New York are you in?
I'm right between Rochester and Syracuse, right on Lake Ontario.
Okay, so there's some good clubs up your way.
The Central New York Aquarium.
Yep, they've been to my house for a field trip.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yep.
I'm going to see them for the first time on June 5th. They're doing a fish swap, and I'm hoping I'm not supposed to look at the chat. I'm hoping that I can join the club at that point because their website seems to be down. I don't know if it's because of the pandemic or what, but I'm hoping to join the club, and it'll be my first time. You said clubs. Is there any others that you're familiar with? That's in your area?
The Central New York one, I think, is probably the closest to you.
Yeah.
I would have to look through my database.
Yeah. That's okay.
But I know that there's 2 in upstate New York. So I don't remember what the second one is. I remember that one is relatively young, or not necessarily that it's relatively young, but that I remember that there was a group of relatively young humans that had gotten involved, which had really sort of updated things. An important thing to remember with clubs is this is all driven by volunteers. So often when the websites aren't working or whatever, it's because there's been a transmission of power where maybe there's a lapse in who has taken over webmaster duties or whatever. Sometimes it can get a little squirrely. Yeah. I think they also have a pretty active Facebook page. So it may be worth asking there about the membership issue.
That's actually what I did do. Yep. And, like I said, hopefully hopefully I'll be able to join them on the 5th. I'm definitely going to the fish swap, and it's my very first one ever, so that's going to be fun.
Oh man, you're gonna have so much fun.
I'm going to record it. I don't know. I might be too busy just geeking out on all the different fish to.
Well, you're better than me already because I feel like a total nerd when I show up places with a camera. Like I clam up. So I am referred to as the reluctant influencer because I am the most camera shy person I have ever met. Like
Yeah.
even to get candid pictures of me is a struggle because I see it come out and I hide, so for me to actually do as much social media as I do is pretty weird because I absolutely hate the camera.
Yeah.
I much prefer lecturing because then the focus is on the fish and the lights are out and it's not about me. It's just about talking about fish.
So you are a little bit of an introvert then?
Oh, I am an absolute introvert. Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people that does really well in crowds for a short amount of time. But one of the things that like I request when I'm traveling is that that before I go, I know where that quiet spot is so that like every couple hours I can go and just sit and recharge my batteries for a few minutes before I have to go back, because it's really important to me that when I'm doing things where I'm meeting people who really care about meeting me, that I can like ask them meaningful questions and, have more of an interaction than, the let's take a selfie thing. Like I want to know, I want to give them advice if they want it or answer questions or whatever. So
just be the person they expect to meet, right?
Well, it's who I am.
Yeah.
And
people don't really know that about introverts. People think introverts are just people that don't like it or don't do well in those type of situations. But a lot of us are like that. We can do really well in those social situations. We just have to be able to get away for a little bit, or maybe you shut down for a week, and you don't have any social interaction for a week to recharge those batteries. So I'm right with you.
There's a reason I've made my living working alone in my basement.
Yeah. Adele, nope, I'm not looking at the chat. It's so hard not to. There's so many awesome people that came in. We got 50 people came in so far. And thank you to all you guys. I love the Fish Fam. They've been so welcoming to me and done so much for me. And that's why I do these interviews, Rachel, that's the only, I don't have a lot of knowledge to share. So it's my only way of giving back is hopefully people will get to know a little bit more about you, and it'll help somebody, and a lot of people that we've had come up, a good friend of mine, Robert, I'm not sure if he's in here tonight, but he has a speech impediment. He's a stutter. So I was hoping that would be inspiring. Weldon, I saw him, he's in here. He has Tourette's. So I think by shining a light on people with those types of issues, who get up here and do these types of things, it might inspire other people that have the same type to come and join us. Come in. The water's fine.
I just really hope that this hobby is trending towards a more inclusive nature. When I started way back in the day, I was one of maybe 2 women that showed up at things, and I was on average at least 20 years younger than everyone else. And I've really seen a shift in the visible face of our hobby over the past 20 years. And I'm so pleased to say that I see so many more people of color. I see so many more women. I see just so much more diversity within our hobby being represented. And in fact, even with speaking engagements, I've made it a point, like when I've been scheduled to speak, to call them out for scheduling all middle-aged white guys and refusing to attend if they can't like diversify things a little bit more, like don't make me your token white woman. Let's reach out to the community and see who has something to say. And I think it's important to mention as well, it doesn't really matter how long you've been keeping fish. I think pretty much anyone who is invested in this hobby and passionately has something to say and something to share. It's just not people who've been doing it for a long time that have worthwhile contributions to our hobby. Fresh eyes are invaluable.
Yeah. 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 And if there is no fresh eyes, the hobby dies, right? So you always want to
Exactly.
bring new people in.
Exactly.
And you want to be welcoming to those people. I mean, I think at least on YouTube, the Fish Fam does a pretty good job of, somebody comes in and asks a question that's maybe not worded the right way or whatever. A lot of times they don't. Most of the time, 90% of the time, they don't attack that person or call them names or anything. It happens, but it's a rare occurrence. Usually they handheld or hold their hand and walk them through what they need to do and get them up to speed. That's me. I learned so much in the first year, so much from the Fish Fam, just from watching videos. Yours, Alex, Science Gal. I mean, just everybody. I could go through every name in the chat, and I'm sure I've watched one of the videos, except for Mr. Manifesto, because he doesn't make any, but he's a jerk. So.
But it's his birthday.
It is his birthday. I saw that.
Happy birthday, Mr. Manifesto.
And here's your birthday present. I'm wearing a shirt. See, and this is my finest Deadpool shirt. So I really put on airs for you coming on, because you were going to class up the place. So
wow,
this is my finest Deadpool. All right, so you live in Pennsylvania.
I do.
What's your family situation? I know you have at least one daughter, right?
I have two daughters.
Okay.
My oldest daughter is 18 and she graduates this Friday from high school and then goes to Towson University to dive for their Division I dive team and to study biology with a course for pre-med. Wow. And then my younger daughter is 17. I had Irish twins. And we are currently in the process of getting her driver's license because COVID screwed all that up.
Yeah.
And she is an exceptionally talented musician and artist and also quite gifted. But I think she's probably going to take a couple of gap years before heading to college in order to sort of figure out what she wants to do, which I highly encouraged.
Sure.
I'm still not entirely sure how 18-year-old kids are supposed to know what they want to do for the rest of their life. Like personally, I'll be 43 this fall and I'm still paying my school loans because I went to school and then I kept going to school and I don't use any of the 3 degrees that I have, but I still have to pay for them. So I've always encouraged my kids, unless you need to rush into college, like get a job, get an apartment, figure out what it feels like to be an actual freaking adult, like pay your bills and realize that work is to pay the bills. And really what you want to focus on is getting a job that pays well enough that you can work so that you can have fun when you're not at work. Yeah. So I'm kind of encouraging that track and maybe that'll catch me some heat, but she's been working and saving money and there's no rush into higher education when you're able to support yourself.
Sure. And maybe it's not for everybody. I really. Well,
I think she might be more of a tradesperson. We'll see. And that is just as needed and valuable as anything else.
It is. It is. It is. I want to encourage everybody to go to school too. Alex talked about learning how to learn, and that's very important, because once you've got that, that's the key, is learning how to learn.
Absolutely.
So hopefully, either way, I hope she finds.
No, she's going to end up in school. She's interested in doing green burials or environmentally ethical burials. So she's thinking about mortuary school with focus in environmental science, so she has really cool aspirations, but she also isn't in a rush to go to college, and she's not sure which order to do it in. So I'm like, well, get a job, get an apartment, feel like, see if we can set you up with an internship and then figure out what's the best course for you to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And make sure it's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're paying a whole lot of money for something that you hate.
That's interesting. My daughter wants to be a coroner. So she's going to school to be a coroner. And my oldest son is an IT guy like I was. And my youngest son doesn't know yet. I think he's going to be a chef because he cooks dinner for us every night. He's 19. And
you lucky man.
And he just started at a pizza place. We were talking about that backstage. tomorrow is his first day, so
Good luck.
to Aiden. And we're going to be eating a lot more pizza and wings, I feel. So he gets a 20% discount. I'm a cheap,
Yeah.
so 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 this one might be a little. If you don't want to talk about this, I know you went through a divorce. You were very forthcoming on your channel about it. So
Yeah.
is it something you feel like talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't have any secrets. I was married. Well, I was married for 18 years. We were together for 22, and we split up just before COVID. And I'm with a new guy now. I'm still super close with Chris. Chris was featured prominently on my channel. We still hang out every week. Everything is, as far as a very long relationship ending goes, I couldn't have asked for a better way for it to go. I'm sure people have questions about that, but it is what it is. We were together from the time we were 20, and it was time.
But you're still friends. That's good.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to be friends with someone. I mean, I've been married twice, 30 years this time, and I was not friends with my first wife, so I know how hard that is. So, and your new guy loves doing outdoor stuff.
Yeah, he is an audio and video producer. He's worked for NPR. He's had some award-winning. He's a guerrilla ethnomusicologist. So he went into. He lived in Nepal and stuff for 7 years and followed around ethnic minorities, recording and capturing music and setting up radio stations.
Yeah.
So he's worked for BBC, NPR, stuff like that. So we have it's like interests like this that sort of cross.
Yeah.
But we're both total nature nuts, and that's really the thing that has brought us together. All we do is travel and hike and backpack, canoe, kayak.
Yeah.
We started paddle boarding last week. Pretty much we just spend all our time in nature, and that's super fun. And I'm hoping that he can help me expand my vision of my channel. We've started as we're traveling, we've started shooting videos. Well, he's shooting video of me checking out the waterways, showing my inspiration, doing water tests of local waterways to just get an idea of what the parameters look like. Shooting underwater footage, I do that, and sort of seeing how I'm hoping I can relate it back to our aquariums to provide useful information for our aquariums. But really, I just want to be out and on the water. I had my knee replaced 3 years ago, and previous to that, I could not walk on anything other than flat surfaces. And I was born and raised a farm girl, so I spent all of my life invested in animals and nature until my knee got really bad. And so for me to have had my knee replacement, all I want to do is just be back out in nature. Yeah. So I'm hoping to tie it into my channel. We'll see if it's a complete success or failure. Regardless, I don't give a shit. I'm doing it anyway. So you're either along for the ride or you're not. I'll still do my aquarium content and stuff like that. But
that comes across. That comes across. It does. It's you can see that you're doing what you love to do. And I did watch the video where you were out and you were talking about getting inspiration. You were by a stream and you were talking about getting inspiration for your aquarium from the stream. I was doing the same exact thing today, and I thought about your video and was looking at how this very small offshoot of the stream was going through the weeds and stuff. And so I thought of your video.
You can learn so much about how materials play with each other, how water flows, what the substrate looks like, the color of the water, what sort of botanicals are in the water, and how the fish interact with those environments. It's completely relevant to aquarium keeping and very inspiring. That video was at Oakland Run which is just off the Appalachian Trail. Actually, I saw someone mention in the
Yeah, Alex.
yeah, and I live very close to the Appalachian Trail. Well, one little section of it. I'm like 3 miles away. So if you guys end up doing that, and, you know, you get to Rocksylvania and you need a break for your feet from walking on all the rocks, hit me up and I'll come pick you guys up and give you a place for a shower and some food and restock.
You hear that, Alex? It's getting closer. It's getting closer. You know, the nature stuff, that's me. Like I said, we live right on Lake Ontario. My kayak sits right by the water. I've shown in a lot of my videos the poor thing, because I didn't bring it in for the winter this year. I was bad and I left it out. I totally forgot about it.
Does Lake Ontario have I did the one by Lake Michigan, I guess. Or was it Lake Superior? I don't know. I did sea kayaking up near the UP.
Yeah.
In Michigan.
Lake Michigan. Well, it could have been Superior. Yeah, probably Lake Michigan. It gets big.
Lake Ontario have the same like wave structure?
No. Lake Ontario is a lot calmer. It's a very, very deep lake too, but it's very calm most days. I mean, once in a while we see whitecaps, but they're not very big. I mean, if you get
this one was like I was like sea kayaking, like riding waves. It was pretty heavy.
You don't get that very often. I mean, I've kayaked out far enough where I couldn't see land. What is it, a spider? Oh, it's
my cat. It's my editor. This is Pepper, my editor.
Oh, kitty. Yeah, I've kayaked out into the lake far enough to not see land. You know, there's no land at all. You can't see it anywhere, and it's an amazing feeling. I haven't done it in a few years, but hiking, you know, all that kind of stuff is my thing too. And I have health issues that stop me from really doing that these days. And that's how I got into all this, was to bring nature inside for me. But I do try to get out there still as much as I can.
Well, and I think that's why I got so heavily invested into aquariums, is that my physical limitations didn't allow me to spend like real time in nature, other than like really easy hikes, which I'm not very much of a like. I'm very much a person who goes all in and hard on everything I do, as evidenced by my fish room, my greenhouse, my bug gardens, and my recent travels, you know. So I think that, you know, I'm in a transition period right now. You know, my kids are graduating. I'm single with a partner who is also motivated to travel. And, you know, I just want to be out there and doing things and, you know, experiencing things too. And I come home so inspired. I have an idea of breaking down. I guess it's been 2 years now. I built the new breeding rack in my fish room, which is where I had all the 15-gallon short end out. And I'm thinking about getting rid of all of those tanks and setting up terrariums or paludariums that are inspired from each individual place that I visit.
That'll be cool.
Kind of thing. So like go there, bring it home, and make a new setup directly inspired by the topography of the area that I saw, as well as their waterways. But we'll see. You know, that's an
awesome idea. I love it. And I love that you're getting out there, because we all get to benefit, because you do such a good job of recording everything, you know, your trips. So
that might be being generous, because I have not done the best job, but I'm working on it.
I think they're great.
Just for me to let my boyfriend record me, I like go through this interior cringe, because I'm such an introvert. Like I'm fine with the camera by myself. It took me 2 years to get over that. You know, I've been doing YouTube for 5 years now. It took me 2 years to not feel like an asshole on camera. And now I have to figure out a way to not feel like an asshole on camera when someone else is holding the camera. So, you know, give me some time. I'll figure it out. But I'm working on it.
I think I'll always be an asshole on camera, but that's just who I am. So
I just feel so awkward when anyone's watching me.
Yeah, you know, that part doesn't come across, because you do look very natural. You do look very genuine. You know, because you can tell, you can tell people try to come across as genuine. You know, you can't come across, you can't try to do it. It's you either do it or you don't. And you do. You don't feel like when I watch your videos, I don't feel like you're selling me anything. I don't feel like you're
Oh, I
selling
am
yourself
absolutely not selling you anything.
you know, but there are other channels that do feel that way. And you can tell, even though they try to not go that route, you can still tell. It still feels like they're trying to sell you either themselves or whatever. You're just.
I prefer when those channels are transparent and say, I am a business. These are products I'm endorsing because I sell them. This is what I think about them, rather than when they try and portray products as being groundbreaking or innovative or indispensable. With, I don't know, man, I got some issues with a lot of the way other people, no one specific to be clear, but just the way that people aren't transparent about the fact that they're selling things.
Yeah.
Just be upfront and honest. Like the reason I started Species Spotlights is because they were fish that I was breeding and selling. Like, it's not rocket science. I got tired of answering the same exact questions hundreds of times a week. So I created videos that answered all of those questions. And when people would contact me and be like, can you tell me about this fish? I'd be like, I got the video for you.
There you go.
Here you go. Yeah. But I never mentioned in any of those videos that I sold, because the goal of my channel has never been fish sales. In fact, I don't even want to sell fish anymore. I'm kind of worried that all the stuff I put out in my tubs this year are going to breed too much, and then I'm going to have to sell fish because I just don't want to do that anymore. Yeah. I like to educate. I like to inspire, but products in particular, I feel like it's kind of shady to not admit that you're sponsored or you're selling a particular product when you feature it on your channel.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Sort of in the same vein, do you do a lot of editing with your videos? I mean, is it heavily? I mean, it doesn't look like it. And do you sort of have a script or anything, or you just sort of know what you're going to talk? Beautiful. That's what I thought.
No, dude, I totally whip it. I mean, obviously I splice different clips together, and before I start, I try and come up with at least like a basic concept of what I'm doing. I don't come up with any script at all. In the early days, I used to come up with a script, and I think it translates in my Species Spotlights. Like, I would sit down and I'd be like, okay, where is this fish from? What are the parameters? Like, how does it breed? And I would write down like little crib notes for myself, mainly because I was so freaking nervous on camera. It was sort of like studying for a test in school.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of learner that, like, I learn through reading and then writing rather than visually. So for me, videos don't do anything for me. I don't learn a fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm a very like reading oriented learner. So in order to prepare for my videos, I would sit there and I would write down all my information, almost like a care sheet. I would then read it out loud, and then I would start my video, and I would interject like my personal opinions around those facts, but I had to concretize those facts in order to not be too nervous to get them out on camera. So some of them may seem a little scripted, but it's mainly because I was just so nervous about being on camera.
And again, that's amazing because it doesn't come across.
Well, I think you might be being generous.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure there's 63 people watching, which might be a record for me. And I bet you it's all 63 of those would say the same thing, that does not come across. That I had no idea that you. And I mean, I can imagine that almost everybody gets a little nervous or anxious before doing anything, especially these live streams. You don't know how it's going to go.
These don't bother me at all.
No,
which makes no sense.
Yeah, that's weird because they bother me, and I can whip out the video. I'll do a video, like I do unboxings mostly, because I get lots of fish, and I have no problem doing that. None. I don't get anxious. I pick up my phone, I start talking, and next thing I know, I'm uploading. I'm done. It's boom. But these, I don't care who it is. I have done. You're my 22nd or 23rd interview. Plus, I do another Monday night live stream.
Yeah, is that like I saw you did ones on like comic books and stuff?
Yeah, we Chattanooga
That's
Ed
fun.
and I do our geek out thing where we just talk. We do a comic book a piece, and then we talk about movies and stuff. But I've
Have
done
you had Peck Tech on for that?
yes. Oh, not for that. He's going to come up for that. But I have had Sean on for an interview. But Sean and Chattanooga Ed are buddies. They
Right.
actually hang
That's what
out.
I'm
Yeah. So
saying. Like
he is going to come up on one of them soon. Yeah.
very
Yeah,
cool.
that's right up his alley. That's definitely
Yeah.
all of his stuff. I had a thought back before we were talking about editing. Geez, what was it about?
So editing. Yeah, I don't know how to edit really. I pretend like I do for YouTube. I'm trying to get better.
I don't think you need to. I mean, you're obviously, I would say you're successful.
You know, my channel's growth did really well the first couple years, and it's pretty stagnant now, but it's consistently stagnant, so I'm happy with it.
Consistently stagnant. I like it. Oh, what was I was something in the same vein about editing and scripting, and it doesn't matter. It's gone. It's gone. It'll come back.
Maybe it'll revisit.
Yeah. So do you have other hobbies besides like the nature stuff? And it seems like most of your hobbies are based around your home, you know, with the plants and everything and the travel. Is there anything else that you do? Are you into video games? Are you into, anything like that at all? Do you have any other hobbies? Do you like to read? Oh,
I like
reading.
to work
That's what
on
it was.
cars.
Reading. I wanted to go
I like
back
to read.
So you said videos you can't really learn very well from videos. I'm the same exact way, except for fish keeping. It's the only, I've been an IT guy. I was an IT guy before I retired, 25 years. And, YouTube and stuff and videos you would think would be right up my alley. I never once used it for a learning process until I got into fish keeping. There's something about fish keeping that really YouTube is a perfect model. It's a perfect medium for it. I don't know what it is.
I use YouTube for car repairs because I do most of my own car repair work.
Yeah.
I like to work on cars. My ex-husband was actually the one that was super good at that, but I've been assisting him for 20 years. So like sometimes when I'm trying to learn something new about car repair, videos are helpful. But for me, I have to watch it, then do it, and pause it, then watch it and do it, then pause it. Like I just don't retain the information the same way from watching videos as I do from reading a book. I read ridiculously fast, and when I read something, I can pull it back up in my mind and look at it and cross-reference it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's not really photographic, but I have a very good recall from the written word.
Gotcha.
So for me, like when I'm trying to retain information, that's what I do. If I'm just trying to like do something, then I can watch a video, but it's gone as soon as I'm done watching it. Like I can't just watch it and then go do something. I have to like have the screen in front of my face and pause constantly. Very irritating to myself.
That's but I am the same way without just about everything else. I love to read. I read a ton. I gave myself a goal of 100 books a year, and I usually come pretty close, but I definitely am the same, except when it comes to fish keeping. I don't know what makes it so different, but fish keeping was the only thing.
Maybe it accesses a different part of your brain. I mean, it's a very creative process.
Yeah.
Fish keeping. So.
And I'm not very creative. I'm not. I've just never been very creative. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's why it does. Maybe you're onto something there. Enough about me. Your hobbies. Did you have any different hobbies than we didn't really? Not really video games. So we talked about you love nature. I
love nature. I like working on cars. I like gardening. I like tattoos. Clearly.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, most of my adult life has been invested in either my children or my fish keeping. And, fish keeping was always primarily, first and foremost, a hobby for me. And I've gotten really much more into terrariums and high humidity plants. And my carnivorous plants are a huge passion of mine. I also grow a bunch of vegetables. But yeah, I mean, paddling, canoeing,
Yeah.
kayaking, paddle boarding,
Which is your favorite?
backpacking.
Canoeing, kayaking, or paddleboarding? You said you just started with the paddleboarding, but kayaking and canoeing, which one is your favorite? I find they're very different.
Well, I was going to say it depends on what you're doing. Like, we're planning a 3-week trip to do the Allagash nature, like up in Maine. We're going to do a couple weeks in the Allagash. And for that, we need like a 17-foot canoe.
Yeah.
This weekend, we're doing the West Branch of the Susquehanna. So we'll take a 15-foot canoe. If I'm doing more rapids and whitewater, like last week, we did Pine Creek and we took a canoe, but we had to pull over a few times to dump it because of all the whitewater. It was just full of it. We don't have skirts for that. So if I'm doing creeks, I like to kayak. If I'm doing whitewater, I like to kayak. If I'm doing like week-long paddle trips, I like a canoe because, quite frankly, you can fit a lot more food and beer on a
Yeah.
canoe than you ever can on a kayak.
Yeah, yeah.
So it really depends on what we're doing, what the waterway's like.
Paddling itself, is there either one that you like better? Just the process of the paddling. Do you like?
Well, I use kayak paddles for both a canoe
Okay.
and a kayak
Okay.
because
Yep.
I don't like canoe paddles.
Yeah.
I feel like I have more control with the kayak paddles.
Yeah.
Generally, I'm in the front, which isn't necessarily the steering, but I do a lot of like last minute rock adjustments. So I like the kayak paddle because I can pull and move the front end of the canoe over.
Yeah.
So like again, when we were out in Michigan doing kayaking, I loved it, and I've been looking for over a year now to get the kayak that I want. I just can't afford a new one, and I haven't found anything used that's in my price range.
Yeah.
But I look forward to doing more sea kayak, and I want to actually do it like in the ocean, as well as larger, more aggressive bodies of water. And then I have a couple of like creek canoes as well that are shorter. But I hope to get into more of the whitewater paddling soon. I've got a little bit of an adrenaline thing that I enjoy in life as I've hitting my 40s. So maybe my midlife crisis will be to become a whitewater paddler.
Yeah. I don't care for the whitewater stuff so much. I really do it more for, it's very zen for me. Like
See,
sometimes I get out in the bay here, and depending on which way the wind is blowing, I'll paddle into the wind, and then I'll just put my feet up and let the wind just blow me right across the bay and just sit and watch the birds. And, there's days I really, get into it and really, exercise with it. But a lot of times it's just, it's meditation.
well,
It's,
I love surfing. Like love surfing, and I can't
yeah,
surf anymore now that I had my knee replaced. I mean, I follow professional surfing pretty avidly. So I think the closest thing that I can do is whitewater
gotcha.
sport boating,
Yeah,
which, I can control with my upper body to play in the waves. And I think that's why I'm so into looking into more of the whitewater stuff. But we'll see, I have so many things planned for my life in these upcoming years. I'm supposed to go to Spain in the spring. I'm like doing this main trip up to do the Allagash. I hit up the Rockies a couple times a year. I want to hit up Tennessee and those sorts of areas. I'd like to visit Sean too while I'm doing that. There's so many different types of waterways. I want to go back to the desert in Utah. Like there's so many things that I want to do and so many places that inspire me that are so different. I also want to make it down to Brazil and Colombia and Peru. once COVID times allows that. Those areas aren't in the best shape still.
No, no.
I'd love to hit up, Asia and India again. Got to wait until that's actually feasible. But
Yeah.
I feel like this adventuring series with and tying it into fish keeping can go anywhere in the world, and it'll
Oh
be
yeah.
super fun.
I'm
So,
excited about it. I can't wait to see some of those things because
I know I have
I have a
to
hard time traveling.
actually edit. That's why everyone hasn't been out yet, because I actually have to sit down and like edit.
Yeah. Well, does your man does he like editing and stuff? Does he enjoy doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
Is he
but I'm a
comfortable?
control freak.
Okay.
Like it's my video. I mean, I plan to have him help me, but it's my
Yeah.
channel. It's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
video. Like I need to at least lay it out in the format that I want, and then have him come in and maybe make it better, which I'm sure he can do. He's an audio pro, and audio is my weakest part. No matter what mic I buy, my audio always sucks. So I'm working on that, but
Well, it's not detrimental to your videos. Believe me, it's
I
not.
appreciate that.
Um, you mentioned you were really into surfing. How does a Pennsylvania girl get into surfing?
Well, when I lived in Philadelphia, we used to go down to the Jersey Shore, which are little waves, but I mean,
Sure.
it's still an active wave set. I used to go down there
Yeah.
every weekend in the summer and surf with friends.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I don't know. I freaking, I mean, water. I think the key
Yeah.
denominator here is just water.
Water. I
And
get that.
a lot of the surfer mentality, a lot of them are really naturalists and conservationists and really concerned about preserving our waterways, which is something I'm super passionate about.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is that I really jive with that mentality of like preserving nature, appreciating nature, being attached and connected to nature. And I feel like surfing is very much that.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. We have a lot in common that way. That's my thing too, man. I just being outside. And I lived in Arizona in the desert for a lot of my life, and then we moved up here to upstate New York, right on the water. That was about 20 years ago.
What a
I would
difference.
never. Yeah, my wife's from this area, so
Gotcha.
I'm from the Chicago area. It's funny. Her family and my family moved to Arizona, same exact month, same exact week of the same year. Way back in the 70s. So it was almost like we
No
were
kidding.
fated to be together. But we moved up here, and now I can't imagine ever being away from water. That's my thing. I don't want to live away from it.
I live a mile from the Susquehanna River.
Nice.
Like I can walk there.
Yeah.
And there's tons of feeder creeks. In fact, when we get flooding, I mean, you wouldn't think where I'm located. I'm in South Central Pennsylvania, more on the eastern side. Like it's certainly like technically a landlocked area. We're part of the
Yeah.
Chesapeake Bay watershed, though, and we get significant flooding from hurricanes. And there's times when like we can't leave our street because every way you go, you have to go over a bridge, and if they're underwater, you can't.
Yeah.
So like, I get it. I think I'm eventually going to end up moving out west. In all honesty. I've been really inspired by Montana, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, even though I don't think I'll live in Wyoming. I think I'll probably end up out there.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It is a beautiful area. It's funny how many fish tubers there are in Pennsylvania. Same with Tennessee. Tennessee and Pennsylvania seem to be the two, because Pennsylvania is more populous. I mean, there's some big cities, and it's a pretty. I'm not sure, where it ranks as far as the population goes, but there is a lot of fish tubers from Pennsylvania.
Are there?
Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
I'm oblivious. I don't watch FishTube, so
yeah, you're probably you probably don't have enough time, anyways.
Well, no, it's not that. I don't know. You know how easy it is to get inspired by people when you watch them, and I try and stay as authentic as I can without any influence. So I just, unless there's something I'm looking to learn, I don't generally watch much FishTube. I mean,
I've heard that from other people with large channels have said the same type of thing. They don't do too much because they're worried about maybe picking up something
I don't
from.
want to bite anyone's style. I don't want to be in
Yeah.
that drama.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We don't even. Yeah. Let's not even bring any of that up. Well, we're already 45 minutes in, if you can believe it.
Oh my gourd.
It went quick. So how about we open it up to the, well, before we open it up to the chat, is there anything that you have coming up that you'd like to talk about or anything? Is there anything that you'd like to promote, so to speak?
I thought I was going to Aquashella, but I haven't nailed anything down. Quite sincerely and honestly, they haven't gotten back to me about the COVID protocols, and it's paddle season. So I'm hoping to do Aquashella in Texas. But again, I have no idea what's going on. Like my real life goals have shifted like 180 in the past year. So I don't know. I got nothing to promote. I'm just here to talk to you people and have a good time. There's no, nothing I got to get out of this. I just thought it'd be fun.
And yeah, that's exactly it. That's all I wanted to do is have you up and have some fun. Just make it lighthearted and get to know you. And it's very selfish too, because like I said, like I changed my name, Starstruck. I've had we can call it a crush. I've said I've had a crush. I've had a crush on you. I've had a crush on Alex, Bentley Pasco. There's a bunch of people that the way you present the information makes it just so much. It's fun. It's fun to learn about the stuff. It's entertainment.
That is the goal.
It's great. It's edutainment. Yeah, edutainment is the word, right?
They need to create a subgenre for that is rewarded by YouTube.
It is. Again, it's been inspiring. My quality of life has gone up a huge amount since I started watching FishTube and got involved with the community. Just a huge amount.
That's amazing.
So thank you, for just being you. All right, so let's open it up to the chat. Anybody have any questions? I saw Riddle, Big M, said to grab Rachel or Rico's attention, type @RicoStan followed by your comment. Yes, please do that. I'm not going to scroll back up too far. Alex said he's not going to go. Aquashella hasn't organized anything in Orlando. I'm assuming for the pandemic part of it.
Yeah, to me that's really important. Like I'm fully vaccinated. My kids are fully vaccinated. My boyfriend's fully vaccinated. My boyfriend's mom is fully vaccinated. But I feel like not entirely sure, like, can we still spread even if we're vaccinated? To me, that's a big concern. And at these events, when there's thousands of people, I'm supposed to stand there without a mask all day, being close to people when I have been alone or with just my boyfriend for the past year. Like, I don't know if my introvert status can handle that. I'm just not sure that I'm like prepared in deep within my soul to be around that many people yet. I mean, if I'm being totally honest, it's not even just about the COVID stuff, but I just don't know if I can. Yeah. I don't know if I might self-destruct if I try and go to something like that at this point, I
can imagine.
The most people I've been around is 4.
Yeah, it's a
and
shock.
3 of them are in my family.
See, even before the pandemic, once I retired, I really didn't do a whole lot outside the house. So the pandemic didn't change my life all that much. Just a few times
I was traveling every other week to speak at clubs or events, and I was routinely around hundreds to thousands of people for like a day or 2 days, and then I'm alone for the rest of the week, and I don't know if I can ever go back the way it was.
I understand 100%. And do we want to go back? I don't know. Is it worth it to go back?
Yeah.
Especially
I want to meet the people that want to meet me. I really want to do that, but I would really love to do it in a way that supports local stores or local clubs or like some sort of nature conservation area, or like let's do like a freaking stream cleanup. Everyone can
Yeah.
come out and I'll be there and I'll get, up to my freaking knees in mud and pull trash out of streams.
Yeah.
And then we can hang out and barbecue or something. To me, that sounds way more fun. Just
That
saying.
sounds like a blast. Let's do it. Let's get it going. We do that. There's a local trail club. It's I can't remember what their name is now. I'm drawing a blank. It's trail is in the name, but they take care of a lot of trails in the county, and they do everything. They do something once a week where they go out and maintain some trail somewhere. I don't do too much with them anymore, but it's always a lot of fun. All right, I've got to start looking at the chat. Again, to everybody that maybe you're new or whatever, we don't look at the chat for the first part. Now's the time, though. If you've got questions for Rachel, go ahead and throw them in there. And please put @RicoStan. Yeah, bring it on, right? Mary Page would like to know, have you been having fun with that new water testing equipment?
I have. I went to Williams Lake, which is just outside of Salmon, Idaho. And I went searching for red shiners there, which are a really beautiful shiner. And that video is the one that I'm laboring through editing right now. There's so many clips to figure out, and I'm just not that good at editing. That'll be the first of the adventure series. And then I went to axolotl lakes, which are actually, they're not true axolotls. They're barred tiger salamanders that are stuck in that pedomorphic state. I went there and videoed that. I don't know yet. I haven't reviewed the footage if I actually caught any on camera because the entire lake was still iced over, even though it was May.
Yeah.
So I had to like chop down a tree and tape my camera to it and break a hole in the ice and stick it underneath to see what I could find. So once I review that footage, regardless, I'll put it out, but I don't know if I actually saw any or not.
Gotcha.
So I have that one going, and then I have a couple paddle trips I did, which I may or may not use. And then I'm coming out again this weekend to go probably shoot some stuff. So it's been super fun.
I hope you do put those paddling things out because again, there's a ton of kayaking content on there, but there's not a lot of kayaking or canoeing or just paddling content with like the eye from a fish keeper. It is. It is. It's totally 100%. Let's see. Oh yeah, Alex asked sort of the same thing. Did you get to try out the new API water testing?
Oh yeah, that's what tasting robot anyway,
out west.
I've taken it all those places and I've used it at each of those places. One of the things that I'm really conscious about that is that it is single-use plastic. So I'm not going balls to the wall, like testing every water source that I encounter. I'm trying to pick ones that I'm genuinely curious about in order to test. So at Williams Lake, it was just at spring melt time. There was tons of offwalks all over the rocks. There were bears. There was like all this stuff. And I was really curious because this is at, I think probably about 10,000 feet of elevation. So it's relatively high. I was really curious about how the snow melt impacted the parameters of this massive lake. So I did use it there, and I used it at Axolotl Lake for the same reason. And at Axolotl Lake, I used it because there was, like, I fell up to my knees in elk and bear shit. Like, no joke. I have a picture of just like me covered with seafood because they all come to that lake to drink. And I was really curious what the parameters would be there. I mean, it was a pretty big lake and it's a whole series of lakes. And again, I think that was at like 7,000 feet elevation. There's tons of snow melt. So I was really curious about the parameters there. And then I've used it in a few other spots that are like smaller, more rapid moving, lower elevation streams. And I think it'll be interesting to sort of compare what we see from waterway to waterway and see like what kind of fish do well and what parameters. So I've been playing with it quite a lot, but I'm very conscious of, number one, the weight of my pack, because most of these places it's a several mile hike into, and I am, I've got a bad knee. I have to use trekking poles. I have to carry my backpacking equipment to be able to camp out that night. you know, I try and limit the amount of the water tester stuff that I have to carry in and then carry back out.
Yeah.
But I plan to continue to use them on waterways that really pique my interest, as well as in some of my tubs and probably never an aquarium.
It's unfortunate that's a single-use plastic, though. I mean, I just wish that they could come up with something that you just stick in the water like a TDS meter, and you can get all that. You know, that would be someday. That's the holy
I'm
grail.
sure it's going to happen, but the reality is this particular device is developed for stores who have a central system. So all of the water within the store is set up in a central system, and you can test your system and get accurate results, or it's made for customers who come in that have an account, and they can, because after you do the testing, you can email the results and the recommendations from the company to the client. So if someone drops off a water sample, they can keep a database of all of their water samples that they've had tested at the store, should they not be interested in testing themselves. So if you're a person who has like a maintenance business, keeping that database can be really useful to compare. You know, there's lots of reasons this product is great. The eco-friendly side is not it, but it's not geared for a person to test all of their aquariums. It's geared for a person to test a system or to spot check or to keep a database, or like for me, it's for me to check. The reason I wanted it and the reason I reached out to API and the reason I asked them to do this, and I don't know if people realize, but I've never really done sponsored content on my channel before, but I wanted this device because I wanted to be able to take it on my travels. Yeah. And I wanted to be able to see what these different waterways, you know, what it was. You know, I take a TDS pen with me as well. I need to get a good temperature probe to take with me. I don't have one as of right now.
Gotcha.
But you know, for me, it was like to answer my questions.
Yeah.
Not to monitor my aquariums.
Yeah.
So I mean, I used, when I went to the Rockies for 3 weeks, I used 4 discs, and I don't think that's excessive.
No. And something like that would be very cool too, to go to the source wherever we're getting, you know, certain discus or whatever it is, you know, certain fish, just being able to see so that we know that we're doing the right thing for the fish in our aquariums. So that
or just understanding what they come from.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the thing with keeping fish is, like, the fish don't read the books. They don't read the water tests. They don't know what we're saying they need. For the most part, if your water is clean, you keep up with your water changes, you feed a healthy diet, you know, you keep a clean tank, as Sean would say, you're going to be in good shape. And the parameters, except for some very specific species, don't really matter as long as it's a cycled tank.
Sure.
But what I'm curious about is learning about the plants that are growing there, the botanicals are there, the fish that are found, how they're spawning. It's beyond just keeping fish alive. I want to learn about everything that contributes to that environment, and that's what makes my inner geek sing at this point, you know, 20 some years into this. You know, it's beyond just like keeping a nice fish tank. I'm interested in more. There's
a huge step up here.
Yeah.
I'm still interested in keeping the fish tanks because I'm still so new, but it's only been a year. So let's see.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that is like what most people do, but I mean, I got to keep my inner geek engaged, and the way that I'm doing that is by looking more.
Yeah, I get it. You've done so much already. And well done said, I have more hair now, must keep growing to get Rico Stan to have a crush on me. That's good.
Well, I don't think my hair gives people crushes, as evidenced by this. I don't even know.
No, come on. You're a rock star, man.
I'm something.
You are. You're a rock star. Oh, it jumped on me. Sorry. Okay, so I'm way behind in the chat. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm probably missing a ton of your questions. Let's see. Remember to do the @Rico Stan so it pops out at me. So and Alex said, like a tricorder, when I was talking about the device just to put it in the water. That's perfect. You know. Um, okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling through. When did I get a wrench? Chevy Fish. Chevy Fish, you should have a wrench everywhere you go because you're awesome. Um, I think you might have been my second person I modded Chevy Fish. Let's see. I'm not seeing a lot of questions. Man, if you see something too, can you even see chat?
I'm trying to scroll through.
Yeah, if you see something, don't wait. You can, if you see a comment or anything, go ahead and.
I see a lot of friends in there.
A lot of what's that?
A lot of friends.
Yeah.
I see Chevy's Fish and a bunch of people. Mary Paige Flynn, a bunch of names I know. Ginger Graves.
There's so many people, so many awesome people in the Fish fam. It's so much fun for me to go. I go into a stream and everybody's like, "Hey, Rico," everybody's like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like walking into your favorite bar. Everybody knows you, and only a few of them are drunk, but
well, they're missing out. No, I wish I knew more about the streams. I'm not quite sure how to get connected without getting too connected. Like, as I mentioned, I don't do things a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that rude? Would you sit down?
It's a weird thing. All my co-hosts ever have cats. Like Chattanooga Ed has cats, and they're always. I told him he should change his name to Cattanooga Ed because he's always got a cat on him somewhere.
I have a catio, and they keep running in from the catio and jumping on my lap, and then running back outside to the catio. And
my wife and I were watching one of your videos, and she goes, "Oh, she has chickens," and I said, "No, that's her catio," and she goes, "What the fuck?"
I also had chickens. I don't have chickens anymore. I got rid of them. Whoops. I got rid of them at the start of the pandemic when my marriage had split up because I couldn't keep up with my kids, my yard, my house, my feelings, and still manage chickens. And my next door neighbor, my chickens always used to go visit them and like hang out in their garage and beg for snacks. So, and she had chickens too. So she absorbed my flock. So they're literally like, I can see their coop right now, like 2 acres away, but she was happy to have my regular layers. And I was happy to not have to clean a chicken coop while I was trying to figure out how everything worked around here.
Yeah. And and one little silver lining there, at least the divorce stuff happened at the beginning of the pandemic and not in the middle of it. Even though you were dealing with some of the fallout, at least it didn't start where, you know what I mean? At least it was at the beginning so that people could do what they need to do and get away from each other and stuff. You know what I mean? So maybe a little bit of a silver lining.
We were so amicable. There was nothing negative or nasty. No one was an asshole. No one did anything crappy. Like,
that's just weird.
Just
weird.
Just is what it is,
Yeah. I'm just jealous. I mean, that's a good way to do it. Not that I hope it ever happens. Like I said, I've been married for 30 years and I don't ever see that ending, but who knows? I hate stupid people said, do you have problems with the fish in your tubs jumping out?
No. I have so many plants on the surface between the Laguna floating baskets, and then I mount the marginals. I zip tie them to the edges of the tubs, and then I have floaters. Like, I've never, at least that I'm aware of. The only time I've ever had an issue is when I think it was Hurricane Sandy came through, and we got like feet of rain. Well, at least that's how it seemed. I had water up to my thighs in my basement, and outside the tubs were overflowing so fast they were tipping over.
Oh.
That's the only time I've lost fish, and I generally drill around the edges of the tubs so that water can seep out. And generally speaking, when it's raining really hard or like the weather's bad, the fish all go to the bottom of the tubs. So overflowing isn't even an issue other than for floating plants.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever had them jump. And I've had like wild bettas outside. I've had gourami outside. I've had rainbows outside. That's never been an issue because I plant them so heavily. I'm trying to make like beautiful little ponds. So
I've been binging a lot of your pond stuff lately because I just for the very first time ever just did some cheap. I did a kiddie pool that we had in the basement. I took it out and I put I had to put a heater in it because it's been getting down to the low 50s. I've got guppies.
No, you don't need a heater.
Well, it's going to be 40.
Well, but this is shallow.
It is.
Yeah, see,
Very
that's
shallow.
why I always go with those deeper
Yeah.
tubs
Yep.
because and the black ones, like the Rubbermaids, check on your local Craigslist because those thick walled, like Rubbermaid tubs, they hold the temperature. And
Gotcha.
even if it's like 80s during the day and 50s overnight, when I've gauged, used a temperature probe to check the temperature, there's less than a 10-degree shift.
Wow.
Which is basically nothing.
Yeah.
If you look at, so like if you're really worried about things like that, you can look at the histographs of the temperatures from where the fish are from, which shows like a seasonal shift in the areas that they're from. And many fish do just fine with the seasonal shift. The thing is, you don't want it to happen fast.
Gotcha.
Like you don't want a quick temperature change. So the reason I use the tall black tubs is it has like striations of temperature. So like as things get, like yesterday here, it was 60s, which was crazy because it was 90 the day before.
Yeah.
Overnight, it was 50. All the fish moved to the bottom. Today, they were all back up at the surface when it was, in the mid 70s again, begging for food.
Yeah.
So but to be clear as well, these are Danios and minnows and things that do pretty well or that are accustomed to a pretty significant seasonal shift. Some of the tetras that come from waters that are more consistent in temperature all the time maybe won't do as well. So that's where it comes into sort of understanding what they can take and where they're from.
I did get one of the other the round tubs with the rope handles and stuff. It's a deep one. I just set that one up though. The other one's been out there for about a week so far.
Do you have Tractor Supply near you?
Yes, there's one not too far.
They have a 40-gallon, I think it is, Tough Stuff tub.
Yep.
That is my favorite, man. It is inexpensive and it is so nice.
You actually you had a video from a couple years ago where you showed the website and everything, and I was just watching that. So I went and looked on the Tractor Supply. It's not too far. We also have a place called Country Max. I don't know if they have those in Pennsylvania. Actually, one of the fishtubers manages the animals at the one not too far from me, and they have great fish there. But it's a Tractor Supply type store. So there's a lot of places out there with the tubs, but this first year, I just wanted to sort of ease into it. I didn't want to spend any money. I just wanted to be cheap, and I've used all the stuff that I already had at home.
No, that makes a lot of sense. But I will say you'll have more success if you have a tub that sets you up for success.
Yeah.
So like slightly deeper and the biggest volume you can find or that you have, it's definitely going to give you a better success.
Yeah. The other one is doing okay. I did lose a guppy so far. I put 10 guppies in there, and a bunch of water lettuce and some rocks and stuff out of one of the tanks.
Is it in full sun?
Well, it gets sun until.
Oh, you're in New York. You don't have to worry about it being stupid hot.
No. Although we did hit some record highs. So let's see. You know what? It's already 7:40. Are you still good? I don't want to take up your whole night. We're already past your time.
I can probably do another like 10 minutes or so.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't want to. Let's see. You see the one from Alex there?
Yeah. What is my take on fish swimming in rivers that change like 30 degrees and a few meters of depth? I mean, that sounds very much like the Congo or someplace like that. Tropical. I don't know that tropical rivers are more uniform temp. Again, you have to remember that the dilution in these large bodies of water makes all of these changes gradual. So if a fish, even if it's in a river, that if they go down a few meters, they have to go down a few meters to have that change in temperature. Most of these fish like inhabit strata within a waterway. So, things like that have higher current I think, have a more significant temperature shift than things that are slower moving that have these strata. So I'm not entirely sure how to answer that question other than that, like, for summer tubbing purposes, I have always chosen fish that are tropical to subtropical or somewhere on the cusp of there, because I know that if things dip down into 50s, they're not going to die. They're just going to stop eating and go to the bottom of the tub, rather than choosing like super tropical species that need much more consistency. If
Yeah.
that helps.
I put a little heater in there, and it's doing okay with that kiddie pool. I don't mind running that little heater. I packed everything into a nice little box to keep all the electrical stuff safe. And
Yeah, and I said you don't need a heater, forgetting you're in upstate New York. So here's the thing with summer tubbing, folks.
yeah,
Like, you can ask me questions all day long about what you should do without studying your climate and
yes,
your zone, I can't answer it.
yeah,
Like, the reality is you have to watch your weather and being aware of your temperatures and choose fish that will work with your environment. If you're somewhere down south where your tub's going to stay like 82 no matter what, go for the tetras, go for some of the catfish, go for that. I am in zone 5B, or 6B rather, which is, we can get up to triple digits, but we also get well below freezing in the winter. So I'm in sort of a microclimate here, being right by the river
same here.
and the mountains. So
Yeah.
I can't answer what will work for you. You have to study your own weather.
And that's sort of why I did with the guppies, and I wanted to
Yes, smart.
just learn what works for me. And the lake does the same type of thing. I mean, we get 10 degrees off the very extremes on both ends. So we're a little bit warmer in the winter, 10 degrees, and we're a little bit colder because the lake is right there. There's actually apple farms all around us and wineries because the temperature is a little bit more moderate. All right, let's see. Patty, Alex asks a question like that, and all I can come up with is, what is Rachel's favorite color?
Orange.
Orange. Wow, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say orange.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say orange. It's always blue or green or red, one of the primary, but orange, that's interesting.
Orange.
Let's see. Oh, here's Stephen P. Are there any fish you want to keep but can't for some reason?
There's a lot of fish that I'd like to keep that are illegal to keep in the United States. I'd love to keep snakeheads. I'd love to keep, or just because I'm not sure if I can ethically keep them well. There's a lot of the really like monster fish that I would love to keep, but I think I would need a tank the size of my living room, and I can't do that. There's some fish that are kind of hard to get, or that maybe I have reasons, or I may question the ethical collection that I don't keep. Or there's some fish that like I feel like I shouldn't keep just because of their breeding strategies. It can't be duplicated in the home aquaria. So maybe they're best left in situ to continue breeding and repopulating. But there's no burning desire of fish that I haven't been able to get. Other than that, I would really love to keep a lungfish, but don't have the tank for it.
Ricky, RB Animals, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing your question. You said I've already asked twice. I'm not going to ask again. Ask one more time, man.
I'm looking for it, RB.
Yeah, sorry. And I didn't say hi like I normally do, but there's actually 72 people in here. So for me, that's amazing. So I appreciate each and every one of you coming in and hanging out with us.
I have it on top chat. Maybe that's why. Maybe I need to go to live chat. Concern it. This newfangled technology.
I see 160. Yeah, Ricky, go ahead and throw it up there one more time for us if you would. And then after Ricky asks his question, I think that's a good time that we'll let you go, since we're already over your hour that you set aside for us. And again, I was so excited to have Rachel come up that I rescheduled somebody, and Rachel was very upset.
Bad.
Yeah, she felt so bad, and she told me to apologize to that person. I'm not sure if it was Jess, Manes, Tails, Fins, and Furs, who is, I believe you and Jess are going to be doing some kind of collaboration in the future as well.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, so it was Jess, and she didn't even bat an eye. She said, "Oh no, do it. Do what you got to do, because it's Rachel." She's just excited as the rest of us. And I'm not seeing her in here today, but again, I wanted to say thank you to Jess from Manes, Tails, Fins, and Furs for being cool. Let's see. Did Ricky? Hey, Lefty, good to see you, buddy. A whole bunch of people. I shouldn't have called out one person, because there's so many amazing people. And maybe, yeah, I'm not seeing Ricky's question.
I guess there's a few people that have asked a few times that we missed, but I'm a YouTube professional, and I had it on Top Chat, so I thought I was keeping up. But
well, I'm a noob, and a lot of times I don't interact with the chat as much as I should, and I'm trying to get better at that. I just have so much fun talking with my interview.
Oh, my favorite holiday.
Oh
my gosh.
Ricky wanted to know. Okay, good.
Earth Day. How about that one? I don't really celebrate many holidays, to be honest. So we'll pick Earth Day.
You do celebrate your birthday. See, a lot of people, older people, and I'm going to include you in that list, they say, once you hit a certain point, it's...
No, I said Earth Day, not birthday.
Oh, I thought you said birthday. You see, birthdays, I think, are important. I think it's, a lot of people say, I don't do anything, or I don't care about my birthday. It's that one day of the year that everybody that loves you gets to show you how much they care about you. So
yeah, but that puts a lot of pressure on them. So I've never really worried about it.
I do my best to really, any of my loved ones, when it's their birthday, I try to really push it, and make sure they have at least a great day, And my daughter's birthday is on Earth Day. So there was a good tie-in there.
Mine is pretty close, or my daughter's rather, is pretty close. I think it's usually, yeah, my youngest is April 21st, and my boyfriend's birthday too is April 21st. Their birthday buddy.
Yeah. Oh.
So
yeah, that's the day before.
April 22nd, I think, is Earth Day.
Oh, Lisa from KG Tropicals.
Hi, Lisa.
Wow, that's the first time I think Lisa or John have come in. It's good to have you. Some more rock stars there. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I think we will go ahead and let Rachel go back to her stuff. I can't say thank you enough.
I'll come back anytime. Just let me know. Well, you know that my schedule's a bit hectic, but I'd love to come back and hang out with you and your audience again sometime.
That would be amazing. And so now I'm going to have to schedule something for every week.
Well,
you said any time. So this is my new co-host, Rachel O'Leary. All right, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys for coming out, and thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, Rachel. Thanks so much. This was a blast. I knew it was going to be fun. Everybody that I didn't say hi to, hi, bye. Thanks for being here. This Saturday, we get to interview Carrie from Science Gal Aquatics. Excited about that one too. Carrie's awesome. I'm pretty sure you guys all know her. So she's on Saturday, and then I honestly don't remember who's next Tuesday, but I'll be posting something about it soon. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you on the next.